Hey guys, happy Vlogmas and welcome to another video on my channel. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about money today. I absolutely love watching the Glamour magazine money diary videos on YouTube, and so I thought that I would recreate that in my own way. Now on both Refinery29 and on Glamour magazine, those people are anonymous, so it's going to be different in that I'm not about to tell y'all how much I make a year. Like, I'm not going to give y'all specific numbers on how much I make, you know, my savings and all that stuff, but I will give you a pretty accurate depiction of how I spend my money, lifestyle choices and things like that. I am 37 years old. I live in Chicago, and I am a process and compliance trainer and documentation specialist. I work in research administration, and I am staff at a university here in Chicago. So that is what I do for a living. Basically, I work in academia on the staff side. As I said, I will not be telling you all my salary, exactly how much I make a year, but I will say that I make less than $100,000 a year, but more than the average household income in the US. I save about 15% a month. I'm on a monthly pay schedule, so I contribute about 15% of my monthly income to a 401k, and my job matches a percentage of that. I'm really bad at saving. Saving is a huge area of opportunity, and we'll talk about areas of opportunity later in the video, but that's a huge area of opportunity for me, but it is a goal of mine, and I am going to work on that. Talking about money makes me sweat. I feel like I'm shiny as heck right now. Okay, anyway, I hate it here. So let's talk about debt. The only debt that I currently have is my student loans, right? Again, I'm not telling y'all how much I have in student loans. Just know that it's a whopping 6 figures. It is firmly planted in the 6-figure range. I do have both a bachelor's and master's. I also attended 2 universities before I actually graduated. Both of them were out of state. Both of them hit me with out-of-state fees. Both of them were extremely expensive. So my student loans are firmly planted in the 6 figures. Other than my student loans, I do not have any other debt. Also, the light keeps changing because my phone light is going in and out, which is annoying. But as I was saying, other than my student loans, I do not have any other debt. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have a car payment. I don't have credit card debt. I do have 2 credit cards though. One I don't use at all. I just use it, or I don't use it, like, I don't actively use it. It's the card that all of my, like my cell phone, my Netflix and Hulu and my gym membership and things like that, renter's insurance, all of that stuff is charged to that card monthly, and then I just pay it in full. It's about $370 or so a month. And then I have another credit card that I do use. That card I use to pay for like plane tickets, or if I'm going on a trip, pay for hotels. If I'm trying to grab a pair of shoes that's dropping and, you know, I've spent my monthly budget, I'll charge the shoes and then pay myself back. So that's the card that I use frequently. Most of the time that card will have about a $200 to $300 balance on that I will just pay in full every month. Again, I get paid on a monthly schedule, so I have to pay things in full when I get paid. So I typically would pay that in full every month too. Right now it is not $200 to $300. It is a lot more. It's less than $1,000, but it's a lot more. So next, let's talk about monthly expenses. And this is where I think that it shocks people. So on Instagram, a lot of the times I'm sharing, like, you know, things that I bought and, you know, stuff like that. And I don't have a bunch of expensive stuff. I don't wear a lot of luxury stuff. I don't wear cheap stuff either. The jeans that I have on right now, you can't see them, but they were $200, right? So I don't mind spending money on things that I really like. And people are typically like, you're balling and blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I'm not. I'm not balling at all. I probably make a lot less than a lot of y'all. I have just structured my life where I can afford to do the things that I want to do within reason. So a big part of that is my monthly expenses, so my living expenses and things like that. So let's talk about that. Right now for rent, I pay $920. That includes utilities. So I don't pay any additional utilities. The only other fee that I pay is a yearly $275 air conditioning fee to run my air conditioner when it's hot. So other than that, I pay $920 a month for rent. It actually just went up this year. I've been here for 3 years. It was $900 and I pitched a fit over $20. Let me tell y'all, my student loan payment is $500 a month. I am on a income-based repayment plan, so my federal loans are maybe like $380 or something like that, and then I have a private loan that you don't get, you just pay, right? And that is about $130 a month. That's a lot. That loan is a lot smaller, and so it's a lot cheaper. So altogether, I end up paying about $500 a month in student loans. As I said earlier, my monthly bills, so my gym membership, Hulu, Netflix, I have Amazon Prime. I also have a subscription to Podbean for my podcast, and a few other things. That all equals up to about $370 a month. So altogether, I spend $1,790 a month in living expenses and other bills. Now, this does exclude my groceries, my monthly allowance. I do give myself a monthly allowance. It also excludes the money that I put to the side for savings, or that I'm supposed to be saving. We'll get there. So my monthly grocery budget is $340. That's $85 a week in a 4-week month, or it's about right under $70 for a 5-week month. I typically only spend like $65, if that, on groceries a week for myself. So I always have money left over from my grocery budget. I very rarely go over unless I'm just doing too much. My monthly allowance is $600. So my monthly allowance is $150 a week for a 4-week month, or it's $120 a week for a 5-week month. Now, $120 or $150 a week is a lot of money, unless you are going to brunches on the weekend, or, you know, grabbing drinks after work. That stuff adds up. So $150 doesn't go really far when you're doing all of that. Trust me, I know. But normally I probably spend maybe 50, 60 of that, depending on what I'm running out of, because that, any like toiletries or anything that I need to re-up on comes out of that money. So if I'm not running out of anything, I can end the week with more than half of that budget, which helps me out. And then I have budgeted to save $500 to $600 a month. I have it in my budget. I can afford to do that. I'm not doing very well at that. And the crazy thing is, y'all, at the end of the month or the beginning of the new month, when I'm like redoing my budget for the month, I can't for the life of me account for where my money has gone. I don't have a lot of things. I'm not a collector of things. So my wardrobe isn't big. I don't have a bunch of shoes or anything like that. Where's my money going? Now, I will say, during quarantine, I have made quite a few of big purchases. So I know where the money went during this quarantine period. But I don't really know how to account for it, before this time. I just, every time I look around, somebody's dropping a new pair of shoes. And then I have an additional $400 to $500 that is just miscellaneous money. So typically I use that to pay for plane tickets for trips, or, you know, shopping or something like that. So I have my money pretty much budgeted out to the T. So I don't make the most money in the world, but because I don't have any debt outside of student loan debt, and I'm about to say this, and it's probably controversial to some people, but as long as I owe those folks, they'll never be broke. What they ask me for a month, they get. But like, I have just made up in my mind that we go together forever, or at least for the next 30 years or so, because unless I can throw $2,000 to $3,000 at these people a month, I'm always going to be hustling backwards with them. I'm one of those people that like to torture myself, and I go and look every couple months or so at my student loan balance, and every time I go and look, it has increased. And about 80,000 of my student loans, my federal student loans, is interest. And I'm not even over exaggerating. Like, every time I go look, it has increased, and I'm just like, I'm hustling backwards, fooling with these people. Now, if I get to a point where I can give them $2,000 to $3,000 a month, I will definitely do it, because one thing about me, I do not like owing people money. And although I have come to terms with me being in a relationship with Navient, formerly known as Sally Mae, for the next 30 years or so. I would like to not owe anything. Let me tell y'all something. If I can get rid of these student loans, I'm quitting this big girl job. I'm going to be like a barista at a coffee shop, and that's like what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. If I come to the point where I'm earning an additional $2,000 to $3,000 a month, they can have it. They can have it, because I can get rid of them within the next 10 to 12 years as opposed to 30 years. So let's put that in the atmosphere. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but in my career right now, I have chosen ease and balance over income. So what I mean by that is I could easily take my skill level, my years of experience, my education level corporate, so out of academia and into the corporate world, and make 6 figures easily, right? But with that comes a lot of responsibility, and I'm just at a point in my life where I don't want that much responsibility. So I'm happy where I am, and I can afford to do that because of lifestyle choices. So for me, the biggest lifestyle sacrifice, I wouldn't even say it's a sacrifice because I love my space, is my apartment, right? It's so inexpensive because it is in an older building. It is a studio. It's a large studio though, so I don't know if you can see behind me, but I actually have a separate kitchen, which you rarely see in studios, and it's a full kitchen. So I have a dining space. I actually have more space in that kitchen than I know what to do with. But I do live in a studio. It is in an older building, so I have 0 amenities. When I say 0 amenities, I mean none. It's 3 floors in the building. I live on the 3rd floor, so I'm up and down 6 flights of steps every day. When I got groceries, up and down those 6 flights of steps. When I have packages, up and down those 6 flights of steps. When I need to do laundry, we have 2 washers and 2 dryers. I'm up and down those 6 flights of steps with that laundry. So, you know, I don't have any amenities. It's not a fancy apartment. Listen, I have a white refrigerator and stove, which 5 years ago, you could not pay me to live in an apartment with a white refrigerator and a white stove. I saw a meme on Instagram where it was like, I'm not about to argue with a bitch that got a white refrigerator and stove. And I was like, drag me, drag me. But there are also pros to living in this space. As I said, it's a large studio, so I have a separated kitchen, so it doesn't feel like a studio. I'm also paying less than $1,000 a month in rent. That includes utilities. It's in the neighborhood that I wanted to live in when I moved in the city. So that is a huge plus for me. It's a secure building, so you can't get into the actual building without a key. And it's 1 mile from my job. It's literally walking distance from work. And so I don't have any like commute time really. It doesn't cost me anything to commute. My job actually has a shuttle that comes right up the street from my house, so I just walk to the shuttle when I don't feel like walking to work. So there are a bunch of pluses for living here, so it's not that much of a sacrifice. That's why I used the air quotes when I said sacrifice, because actually it's a good deal when you really think about it. And speaking of like my commute, I was able to get rid of my car because I wasn't using it. It literally would sit outside my apartment for weeks because I didn't have to use it to commute to work. And whenever I would like go out and hang out with friends, they were either picking me up because I had so much anxiety about moving my car, because the one downside about this neighborhood is that parking is trash. And sometimes I would leave and get home late and literally be crying in my car because it would be so late and I would have to park so far, and I would be scared to walk from my car to my apartment. So being able to get rid of my car and not really needing it was a plus. And also I got rid of an expense. My car was paid off, so I wasn't paying a note, but I was still paying insurance, I was still getting gas, I was still paying for maintenance. So I was at least spending $150 to $250 and maybe more if I had to do maintenance a month on my car. So I was able to get rid of that and save in that respect as well. So while I think I do pretty well with the amount of money that I make, again, as I said, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's definitely more than enough for it being just me. But I do really well budget wise, and I'm really good at holding myself to my budget and being accountable for like my spending. If I charge something on my credit card that was not in my monthly allowance or was not in my monthly shopping budget, I make myself pay myself back from my monthly allowance or from that shopping budget. So sometimes, like January, I won't have no money to do shopping. So in January, I won't be able to do any shopping because I spent all the monies. I've already spent the monies for January. So I'm pretty good at holding myself to it and making myself pay myself back. But as I said earlier, I do have areas of opportunity. One of them, not one of them, the biggest area of opportunity that I have is saving. I have it in my budget to save $500 to $600 a month. I am not doing well at holding myself to that. I am spending the monies on Nikes and a bunch of other stuff that I'm not supposed to be spending the money on. In addition to just not saving the way that I'm supposed to save, I don't really know what to do with the money. So, you know, initially my idea was just to throw the $500 to $600 in a savings account. I have become really close with someone this year that works in finance, and she's like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to invest and blah, 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 blah. And so, you know, I already don't know how to save the money. When you talk about investing and stuff, it just goes all over my head. But I am going to be a lot more stern with myself about saving. I just have to figure out like what's the best avenue. It's not a lot of money every month, I think $500 to $600, but it's enough money. I just have to figure out where to put this money to make the most money off of it, if that makes sense. So I did buy some stock earlier this year though. She did convince me to buy some stock, so I did that. I did something good this year, okay? Another thing that I think is an area of opportunity is I need to find another stream of income. Let me tell you something. The entrepreneurship corner of the internet gets on my nerves. I'm not gonna even front with you. The whole, you know, you need to have multiple streams of income. It just, it gets to be a lot, but I do understand having multiple like income streams, having multiple ways to make revenue, right? And so I need to come up with a way to pull in more income outside of my salary that I make at work. Currently, I'm not. So I am literally just living off of my salary at work, which makes what I'm doing even more of an accomplishment if you ask me. But I do want to pull in additional income to maybe put toward those student loans or to bulk up my savings, because I did get started really late with my 401k. That's a whole other thing. But so I do want to find another stream of income. It's just, for me, it has to be something that I am passionate about, that I enjoy doing. Because one thing about me, I don't care how much money. I was about to drop an F-bomb on y'all. I don't care how much it's paying. I don't care how much like earning potential it has. If I don't enjoy doing it, I'm not doing it. Point blank and period. It's just, it's not gonna happen. I can't even make myself do it. I can't make myself do it. Myself would just refuse. Period. So definitely I need to find another way to pull some income in. And then the last thing that I have is not necessarily an area of opportunity, but I need to get my savings together and I need to pull in some more income because I am ready to buy. I'm getting the buying itch. And so I could definitely get approved for a nice house for just me right now, but I would like to have a nice down payment. If I ever wanted to like get another car, I would like to have a nice down payment for that as well. So getting my savings together and pulling in additional income is going to be really important for my purchasing goals in the future. So I think that is pretty much where I am when it comes to like budget and lifestyle choices and things like that. And I hope it like addressed some of those comments that I get from people that are like, you're balling, or you know, you like, I need your job and blah blah blah. Trust me, I am not, but I do pretty well, and I've made decisions that has allowed me to spend money on the things that I like, but I also know how far my money can go, and I'm not out here spending money that I don't have. That is against my religion. Having credit card debt and stuff like that is against my life religion, because I've been there and I never ever want to go back again. That's a level of stress that I never want to feel in my life again. Going to try to get an apartment or a car or something like that and not being able to get approved. No, we don't want to ever be back there again. So I hope that this was like a more realistic look into how someone that is single in a big city on the later end of her 30s, that is making less than $100 that is making less than $100,000 but more than the average median household income, budgets and spends their money. I mean, as I said, I think I do a pretty good job, but I definitely recognize my areas of opportunities. So if y'all do have any like suggestions about what I can do with this $500 to $600 a month that I need to be saving for my retirement, please let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation. I'm open to any types of suggestions, except for the one where you tell me, well, you need to have the money to come directly out your check and go into your savings account. I know that. I know that. The reason that I haven't done that is because it's a cumbersome process at my job, and I did not do it when I first started almost 3 years ago. And I have literally been avoiding doing it because I don't want to go through the process of adding another account to my direct deposit. You know, it's this whole thing where you end up having to get paper checks the next month. It is a lot. And so I've been avoiding it, but I'm going to put my big girl pants on and just do it. Okay, I'm just going to do it. So I know that point, but I don't even know if I should be putting the entire 600 into a savings. So like, should I split it, put a few hundred in a savings account and then invest another few hundred? Give me your ideas on what I should be doing. That is going to conclude the Ghetto Money Diaries with Angela. Again, if you have any like comments or questions or concerns, let's talk about it in the comments, and I will talk to you all in the next Vlogmas video tomorrow. Bye.